Hey, I'm Samantha Salmon, certified integrative nutrition coach and brain health licensed trainer, and I've been asked a few times to share some information about my tower garden. So, what is a tower garden? A tower garden is a hydroponic system where basically you get to grow your own food and be food sovereign, even if you live in a cold environment. The first time that I even was thinking about the tower garden, the first time I saw it and was really interested in it was when I lived in Chicago. Chicago has really long winters, and I lived in a condo, so I had no yard space, but we had lots of beautiful light. And I felt like, it would be great in my kitchen area, dining area, to have the tower garden with all that light coming in and the food, and not have to go out in the snow to, get produce. This is just for me personally, not for the store. But I didn't get it then. Then we ended up moving to LA. And in LA, I was on the board of directors for a nonprofit that was using the tower garden to teach school children how to grow their own food. While in LA, I didn't get it then. But then I moved to Florida with the intention to be food sovereign. At this point, the pandemic had already been going on for a couple years, and we were still pretty much on shutdowns by the time I moved to Florida. Florida wasn't really shut down. And then I got here. We have yard space. My grandfather actually used to grow food in the backyard. But when I got here, there was a black snake there. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm good. I am from Queens, New York. I don't do amphibians and reptiles. I don't like creepy crawlies. That's not something I'm used to. And I understand, I've been to events, even in LA, like Earth Day events and stuff like this, and heard gardeners talk, and they talk about, how you need to bring in the worms or something to make the food grow or something like this. I'm a new gardener, so I don't know all the terminology, okay? I know more stuff about nutrition than gardening because I'm very new to it. But this really creeped me out because I just could not ever see myself using my hand, even with gloves, taking out worms to put into a garden to grow anything, right? That's not something that I do. So I decided, I met this woman. Her name is Ayo, locally I think it was at Ocala Veg Fest. I did a talk at Ocala Veg Fest, and I talked to her after, and she was selling Tower Garden, and her display was just amazing. We talked about all the stuff that she was growing, and I decided to get one myself. And so since then, it's been super fun because the first time was really overwhelming. A lot of things went wrong. And I was, had a lot of anxiety around it because I just didn't know what I was doing. I've never, grown anything in a tower garden before. And it was quite a learning curve in the beginning. For some people, it probably wouldn't be such a big deal. But for me, it was something. So why did I choose the tower garden over some other vertical growing system? I personally like the tower garden because there's no soil involved. And I find historically when I've grown plants that have soil, sometimes you have a fruit fly come in and they nest in the soil. And now you have a whole fruit fly problem, right? There's just a whole bunch of gnats everywhere. And I didn't want that. With the tower garden, there's no soil, it's all water and nutrients. And so I don't have any problems with any kind of bugs. I know some people do though. Some people, because there are different types of gardens. So I have the indoor tower, which has lights on it. And then there's the outdoor tower that doesn't have lights and is bigger. It's larger, it has a larger base. The indoor tower is on a timer, so it waters itself and it lights itself. It's kind of a set it and forget it, or you just have to plant the seeds, let the seeds grow roots, and then put them in the tower and set up the tower with the water and nutrients, and it does its thing, and then you just harvest your stuff. In the beginning, it's a little overwhelming going from not growing anything to now trying to figure out the tower. And it's not hard to figure out. It's just, I don't know. I was really overwhelmed because it was just something, a whole new thing I had to learn, But apparently I did some research. Tower gardens use 90% less water than traditional soil gardening, which is interesting to note, I guess, which makes it extremely water efficient and environmentally friendly. Some people, they basically hook up the hose. It comes with a hose, and I guess they hook it up to their faucet to get the water in the tower. I don't use tap water in my tower garden. I actually go to the store and buy bottled filtered water because in the home I have a zero water filter and a distiller. It takes a long time, a pretty significant amount of time to get clean water to drink. And we have a whole house drinking that water. So it just isn't logical, or is that the word? Yeah, logistically, it just doesn't work to use that water in the tower because I typically, every time I fill the tower, I put about 10 to 14 gallons of water in. So I go in, I buy that water because our tap water here not only does it have fluoride, but it has chlorine in it. And all sorts of things. Tap water has all sorts of chemicals in there and pharma drugs and all sorts of stuff. So I go out and I buy filtered water and I fill it and I add my nutrients. Another fact that I researched for y'all, tower gardens can produce up to 20 vegetables, herbs, fruits, or flowers in just a 2-foot by 4-foot space because the vertical design maximizes yield for the footprint. Now, I have planted each hole on the tower at this point with my first set of seeds. Each little, you put the seeds in this thing called wool rock, and I put about like 10 seeds in each, right? And I got this tower, let's say, so I went to Poland and came back, I want to say September. I came back and started growing in September. So if I started growing in September to now, so it's been like, let's say 5 months time, and I haven't had to add any new seeds. Okay, so from those 10 seeds with each pod, I haven't had to add any new seeds. Okay, and it just keeps growing and growing. I have dandelion, cilantro, parsley, kale. I have 2 different types of kale growing, and lettuce and basil growing. I think that's it. Yeah, and I haven't had to add new seeds. So, and I have a ton of seeds. Every time you buy seeds in the packet, it's about 100 seeds in the packet. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get to use up all those seeds the way, I've been eating. But at the same time, I'm the only one eating from the tower for the most part. I'm the only one eating from the tower. And I make all sorts of stuff. I only have this stuff growing now, but you can grow fruits on it too. But my tower is at capacity right now. I would need to get another tower, and I was thinking about that, to expand and get fruit, because that's the only thing I really buy in the store. I get my dry goods delivered, and I'm growing vegetables on the tower and herbs, and the only thing I actually buy in the grocery store are fruits at this point. And you can grow fruits on the tower, but I would need a whole new tower, so I haven't gotten into that yet. The tower garden system allows for year-round harvesting, even in cold weather climates, which was the appeal. In Florida here, the appeal for me to have this indoor tower is to just not have to deal with the animals, right? Crawling in and around my stuff, right? So the most that could get on it is a spider, because there's spiders here in the home always trying to create, a house for themselves. But I have never found a spider on my tower. I don't know if they just don't like greens or what it is, but nothing. I don't have to worry about any of that, which I love. That is just yes, because I don't like bugs. And apparently, this is an interesting stat. that NASA scientists pioneered aeroponic technology as the most efficient method of growing food in space. So tower gardens bring this advanced tech to homes, and their whole thing is they're trying to make it accessible and affordable for folks. Some people may think it's money. I mean, it's not nothing, right? Clearly. But the mere fact that you buy this thing one time and you have a harvest for forever, basically, it's worth the investment. I mean, food is basically pennies. That you're saving a ton of money with it because you keep getting a full harvest from it. And I always have, the way my tower is right now, I always have vegetables to pull from. I've never needed vegetables and it didn't have, So yeah, one thing you may want to know too is that it's plugged in all the time, right? So the light is on a timer, and the light basically just simulates sunlight, and the water is on a timer, and you just plug it into the wall. So it's like 24/7, just lighting itself and watering itself. So if you are in a really small space and you have difficulty sleeping, then, you may hear, I don't know, I don't think it's that loud, but, we have space. So it does make a little bit of a, like a rumble noise. If you have like central air or something, how you hear that. The motor makes just a little slight noise where it's audible, but I don't think it's that disruptive. But if your space is really, really small and you have trouble sleeping, then that is something to consider maybe. Now, when I got my seeds, the company that sells the tower garden, they sell seeds. They also sell seedlings where you can just buy them and pop them into the tower right away because there's already some growth there. I wanted to make sure my produce was USDA certified organic, and they couldn't promise me that. Now I understand why they couldn't promise me that, is because the USDA certification for organic doesn't apply for hydroponically grown produce, apparently. That's what I understand. And so you wouldn't find one, right? They wouldn't be able to certify it organic, even though they say that it's organic. So I bought all my seeds. I bought some of them from Mountain Rose Herbs and I think Star West Botanicals or something. I think I bought the rest from. And they're all certified organic seeds. Going forward, will I continue? Well, I have a ton of seeds, right? So I have a lot. And I told you what has it been? I said 5 months. And I haven't had to put in new seeds. So I feel like it's going to be a long time before I even have to think about, buying something else to fill a hole in the tower. But that's just something to keep in mind if you are concerned, because I was really concerned about that in the beginning with making sure my produce was organic. And the nutrients that I put in the water does come from the system. I buy that from the company. And in 5 months' time, I only had to buy the nutrients once, right? Because when you first buy the tower, it comes with nutrients. It comes with everything you need. And then since the 5 months, I've only had to buy nutrients one time. So that just goes to show that the nutrients, at least the first time you get it, those nutrient bottles are pretty small. And then when you buy the refill, it's a bigger bottle. So I don't know if those smaller bottles lasted me, let's say 4 months, let's say. This bottle might last me, I would say, at least 8 months, maybe more. But only time will tell. Now, of course, with the tower garden, you don't really have to worry about weeds, but you do have to prune them because depending on the minerals, the mineral balance in the water, sometimes you'll get brown leaves. It's normal. So I do, like, whenever I'm walking by the tower and I have a little bit of free time, I'll just prune them so that there's no nutrients being wasted going to that part of the plant. It's just going to the healthy parts. So you may have noticed if you watch some of my old videos and, like, past projects, that I had the tower in the corner here. I have a window here and I had the shades closed because the tower, especially since I do a lot of video stuff here, the tower has light, then there's light coming from the window, which there's light coming from the window right now, which you can see on my face, which is not that bad. But with the tower there, the light was so bright, so I would have to always unplug it, and then, you know, it's so close to the mic, and so it was making a lot of noise. Right now you can hear the water running on the tower. It's a little bit of ways from me, so it's not right here. And I just felt like the reason why I moved it was so I could have more room to walk around it and really harvest properly around it, because I had so much growth in the corner, and I was pulling from the side that I have access to, and there was so much growing in the back. So I had to move it. So in terms of placement, if you're looking where to put the tower, it doesn't need to be near a window because it has its own lighting system. But you do want to set it up in a place where, you know, you're filling it with water. So having it on carpet may not be the best thing, because you don't want mold to grow if water's spilling or whatever. You want it to be able to wipe up and dry quickly. And also just to be able to walk around it, right? Have that area to walk around it and harvest around. So that's all I have for you for today. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in getting a tower garden. If so, are you getting an outdoor one or indoor one? And what do you plan to grow? I would love to hear in the comments. Take care.